Robert sir,
Dr. Robert sir, good evening.
Good evening, good evening, good evening.
I welcome you, sir.
Thank you. So, ready for today's show?
Yes, yes.
Daily இது ஒரு டிராமா மாதிரி ட்ரூப் ஆயிடு போச்சுல.
ஆயிடுச்சு, ஆமா. கொஞ்ச நாளைக்கு ஒரு
அடுத்த ப்ரோகிராம் உங்களோட வேற இருக்குல்ல சார்?
ஆமா.
அதுக்கு அவங்களுக்கு அவ்வளவு பேர்டன் கொடுக்க மாட்டோம். பாவம் ரொம்ப கஷ்டப்படுறாங்க.
Thank you so much. இருந்தாலும் என்னுடைய வேலையை நான் பார்த்துதான் ஆகணும். சர்டிபிகேட் கொடுக்குற வேலையை நான் பார்த்தேன் ஆகணும். நைட் எல்லாம் உட்காந்து அதை ஷேர் பண்ண முடியாது.
அதுக்கு ஒரு டிபார்ட்மெண்ட் கிரியேட் பண்ணுங்க, சர்டிபிகேட் டிபார்ட்மெண்ட்.
அதை ஷேர்
மெயினா கேக்குறதே
அதானே சார். அது வந்து மிட் நைட்ல அது 24 ஹவர்ஸ்க்கு ஒரு தடவை தான் சார் 700 அனுப்ப முடியும். அதனால அது கரெக்டா 12 மணிக்கு தான் முடியுமா. அதுக்கப்புறமா நான் உட்காந்து அதுக்கு அடுத்து அது
ஆவரேஜா எவ்வளவு வர்றாங்க ஒரு நாள்? ஒரு 250
சார். அவன் பார்ட்டிசிபென்ட்ஸ் வர்றது வந்து இதுல கரெக்டா நீங்க முடிக்க போற நேரத்துல 400 சம்திங் வந்துருவாங்க. நீங்க தொடங்கும் போது ஒரு 200 இருப்பாங்க. நீங்க முடிக்க போற நேரத்துல 400 வந்துருவாங்க.
இது ஃபீட்பேக்கு.
ஆமா சார், ஃபீட்பேக். அதுல வந்து ஒரு 150 அது மாதிரி இருப்பாங்க. ஒரு சில நேரங்கள்ல டைம் இருந்தாங்கன்னா ஏன்னா வேலைக்கு போயிருக்கலாம். அவங்க டைம் தெரியல நமக்கு என்ன மாதிரி.
ஓகே ஓகே, பட் தட்ஸ் ரியலி நல்ல ஆடியன்ஸ்.
மேல கண்டிப்பா இருப்பாங்க. ரெகுலரா வர பார்ட்டிசிபென்ட்ஸ் நிறைய இருக்காங்க சார். கரெக்டா வந்து சர்டிபிகேட் இல்லாம நாலேஜ் இம்ப்ரூவ் பண்ணணும், நிறைய தெரிஞ்சுக்கணும்னு வரக்கூடிய பார்ட்டிசிபென்ட்ஸ் நிறைய பேர் இருக்காங்க சார்.
கிரேட். ஒரு முறை ஜஸ்ட் ஸ்கிரீன் ஷேர் பண்ணி பார்க்கவா?
பண்ணிடலாம். ஒரே நிமிஷம் சார், நான் ஹோஸ்ட் ஆமாம். ஓகே சார். 500 பார்ட்டிசிபென்ட்ஸ் வருவாங்க. ஆனால் 1800 பார்ட்டிசிபென்ட்ஸ் ஃபீட்பேக் ஃபில் பண்ணுவாங்க. அது எனக்கு ஒரு வேலை சந்தோஷம் தான். சரி, நம்மளுடைய சர்டிஃபிகேட்டை வந்து சந்தோஷமா அவங்க வந்து வாங்கி அது அவங்களுக்கு யூஸ் ஆகும் அப்படின்ற
சில சர்டிஃபிகேட்டுக்காகவே வருவாங்க சார்.
கண்டிப்பா.
ஏன்னா நம்ம ப்ரோக்ராம் முடியறதுக்கு முன்னாடி 1600 அந்த மாதிரி நான் அலோ பண்ணா மட்டும்தான் நான் தப்பிச்சேன். அப்படி இல்லைன்னா கரெக்டானா எனக்கு 500 மெசேஜ் வரும். நான் பேசாம இருந்தேன்னா அவங்க இஷ்டத்துக்கு அவங்க சொந்தக்காரங்க எல்லாருக்கும் கொடுத்து அவங்க ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸ் எல்லாரும் கொடுத்து ஃபில் பண்ணிட்டா நான் ஃப்ரீ ஆயிடுவேன். அதனால இப்போ இப்பதான் ரொம்ப நாள் அது மாதிரி நடக்குது. சரி,
சரி, நான் ஒரு ஜஸ்ட் பிபிடி போடுறேன் பாருங்க.
சரிங்க சார்.
இந்த ஸ்லைடு வருதா?
வருதுங்க சார்.
வரலையா?
வருது சார்.
வருது.
கிளியரா இருக்கு சார், கிளியரா இருக்கு.
ஓகே ஓகே, வேணா ஒரு சின்ன வீடியோ கூட ப்ளே பண்ணி பாத்துக்கிறேன்
சார். அதுக்கு முன்னாடி
நீங்க சொன்னீங்கல,
அத பண்ணுனாதான் ஒர்க் ஆகும் வீடியோ.
அது எதுல எனக்கு மறந்துச்சு. இப்போ
நீங்க ஃபர்ஸ்ட் வெளியில வாங்க.
ஓகே ஓகே,
சரிங்களா? இப்போ
மோர்ல
வந்து
போனல.
இல்ல அது போக வேண்டாம். ஸ்கிரீன் ஷேர் பண்ண உடனே கீழ கீழ 2 ஆப்ஷன் வருதா?
ஷேர் கம்ப்யூட்டர் சவுண்ட்.
எஸ். அது 2ஐயும் கிளிக் பண்ணுங்க. பண்ணிட்டு இப்ப ஷேர் பண்ணுங்க வந்துரும். வீடியோ ஆப்ஷன்.
எஸ். ஓகே.
ஓகேவா சார்?
எஸ் டன். நான் ஒரு இது சின்ன இது ஷேர் பண்றேன்.
சரிங்க சார். இந்த சிங்கிள் டே ஃபுல்லா அதர் ஸ்டேட் தான் சார் நிறைய பார்ட்டிசிபென்ட்ஸ் இருக்காங்க.
அப்படியா?
அதர் ஸ்டேட் தான் நிறைய பார்ட்டிசிபென்ட். என்னங்க மேம் டாக்டர் பிரேமலதா மேம்? அதர் ஸ்டேட்.
இல்ல அப்படின்னா ப்ரொஃபைல் எப்படி உங்க ஸ்கூல் டீச்சர்ஸா காலேஜ் டீச்சர்ஸா என்ன மாதிரி?
எல்லாரும் மிக்ஸ் ஆகிதான் சார். டீச்சர்ஸ் எஜுகேட்டர்ஸ் காலேஜ் ப்ரொஃபசர்ஸ் எல்லாமே இருக்காங்க.
ஓகே கிரேட்.
Right from the primary teacher to the university teachers.
இது வருதா வீடியோ?
வருது சார். பட் ஆடியோ கேட்கல சார்.
கேட்கலையா? ஒரே நிமிஷம், நான் இதுல ஆடியோ டிசேபிள் ஆயிருக்கு.
ஓகே சார்.
டன்.
உங்களோட வீடியோக்காக நிறைய பேர் வெயிட்டிங்.
இல்ல இது இன்னைக்கு நிறைய அவ்வளவு போர் அடிக்கும்.
இன்க்ளூடிங் பிரேமலதா மேடம் அண்ட் myself also sir.
We are the first participants.
Thank you.
เขาจะได้อะไรถ้าเขาทำแบบนี้ทุกวัน
சோ அப்படினா பிரச்சனை இல்ல. சோ ஸ்கிரீன் ஷேர் பண்ணிக்கலாம். நான் பேசுறது கிளியரா கேக்குது?
கிளியரா இருக்கு சார்.
டன். ஓகே. ரெடி ஆகட்டும்.
7 more minutes are there.
Okay, please take your time. No problem.
நம்ம கொலாபரேஷன் ப்ரோகிராம் கூட அனௌன்ஸ் பண்ணலாம் என்ன சார்? கொலாபரேஷன் ப்ரோகிராம் கூட நீங்களே அனௌன்ஸ் பண்ணிடுங்க. முடிக்கும்
அனௌன்ஸ் பண்றீங்களா?
பண்ணிடுங்க. முடிக்கும்போது பண்ணிடுங்க.
Okay, sure. But almost I got most of the speakers. Now I'll just type it. Maybe night na anupirren ungalku.
Okay sir.
Okay.
உங்களோட ஸ்கிரீன் தெரியல எனக்கு.
ஒரு நிமிஷம்.
ஒரு 5:30 பாருங்க 500 ஆயிரும்.
முடியும் போது
இல்ல அவங்க எல்லாரும் வேலைக்கு போயிருப்பாங்க சார். வர
ஓகே
டைமிங்ல அந்த 5 அந்த மாதிரி எல்லாம் ரீச் ஆயிடுவாங்களா இருக்கும். கொஞ்சம் பேரு கரெக்டா ஃபீட்பேக்னு வருவாங்க. அத நம்ம தவிர்க்க முடியாது.
தட் ஆப்வியஸ். அது
மேக்ஸிமம் இவங்கள வந்து இவங்க நான் என் வீட்ல யாருக்கும் பயப்படணும் இவங்களுக்காகவே பயப்படுறது இல்ல. இவங்கள சாட்டிஸ்ஃபை பண்ணனும். நான் வந்து நிறைய சர்டிபிகேட் கரெக்டா கொடுக்கணும்னு சொல்லிட்டு இன்னொரு மெயில் கிரியேட் பண்ணி அதுக்கு 700 பே பண்ணிட்டு அதுலயும் நாங்க கொடுத்துட்டு இருக்கோம் சார்.
ஓகே.
அதுலயும் ஒரு நாள் இதுல கொடுக்குறேன். அதனாலதான் இவ்வளவு சீக்கிரம் கொடுக்க முடியுது. இல்லைன்னா 1 வீக் மேல ஆயிரும். ஏன்னா 700 இருந்தா டெய்லி இவங்க கையில கிடைச்சிரும். ஆனா எனக்கு நான் 700 தான் அலௌடு. ஆனா இவங்க வந்து 700 பார்ட்டிசிபென்ட்ஸ்க்கு பதிலா இவங்க ஃபீட்பேக் ஃபில் அப் பண்றது 1800 1900 per day.
அது டூப்ளிகேட் ஆகுமா? எப்படி?
அது இல்ல அதுக்கு மேல அது க்ளோஸ் ஆயிடும் சார். per day வந்து இவ்வளவுதான் கோட்டா இருக்கும்.
how is that? இப்போ ஒரு 500 அட்டெண்ட் பண்றாங்கன்னா how is that so many submit feedback
ஃபார்ம் நம்ம அப்படி தானே சார் பப்ளிக்கா தானே சார் நம்ம அப்படி போட்டு விட்டுறோம்.
அவங்க you won't close it. எப்போ க்ளோஸ் பண்ணீங்க?
க்ளோஸ் பண்ணா என்ன க்ளோஸ் பண்ணுவாங்க சார்? ஓகே ஃபீட்பேக் க்ளோஸ் பண்ணா என்ன க்ளோஸ் பண்ணிரலாம் சார். நைட் கூட மெசேஜ் 500 மெசேஜ் மேல வருது. என்னால அத ஓபன் பண்ணி எனக்கு பதில் சொல்றதுக்கு முன்னாடி இந்தாங்க அந்த மாதிரி விட்டாச்சு. சரி அதனால என்ன ஆயிட போகுது சார். அவங்க சந்தோஷம் தான் முக்கியம். ஓகே.
இப்ப ஸ்கிரீன் தெரியுதா?
தெரியுது சார்.
பட் என்னோட ஃபேஸ் தெரியலன்னு சொன்னீங்களா?
உங்க ஃபேஸ் நல்லா தெரியுது சார்.
அப்படியே அப்போ என்ன பிரச்சனை? வீடியோ ஆன்ல தான் இருக்குது.
வீடியோ தெரியுது மேடம்.
வீடியோ தெரியுது.
என்ன கிளியர் இல்ல. என்னோட முகம் அப்படிதான்.
சார் உங்க முகத்துல சொல்லலங்க சார். உங்கள ஒண்ணும் சொல்லலங்க சார். நான் அத சொல்லல சார். நான் அந்த ஸ்கிரீன் தெரியலன்னு சொன்னேன். ஃபர்ஸ்ட்
No, 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 no. Simply, no, no, simply
Zoomல
joking. இல்ல இல்ல
ஆ.
இப்போ இந்த ஸ்கிரீன் தெரியுதா? This one you can see.
தெரியுதுங்க சார். லைஃப் ஸ்கில்ஸ் ஃபார் டீச்சர்ஸ்
Okay.
ஹெட்டிங் போட்டிருக்கீங்க.
மூவ் ஆகுது இல்ல?
மூவ் ஆகுது. Thank you டீச்சர்.
Okay, done. That's fine. Okay.
டாக்டர் பிரேமலதா ஒரே நாள்ல ரெடி பண்ணிருக்காங்க சார்.
சூப்பர் சூப்பர் சார், சூப்பர் சார்.
எப்படியா
வெரி நைஸ் எஃபர்ட்.
எஸ்கேப் ஆகலான்னு பார்த்தாரு. நான் விடவே இல்ல. முடியவே முடியாது. முடியாது. நீங்க இந்த டேட்ல பண்ணிதான்
நீங்க பிடிச்சீங்கன்னா விடவே மாட்டீங்க.
ஆமா. ஆளு இருந்தா கூட நான் அரேஞ்ச்மெண்ட் கூட சொன்னாரு. அதெல்லாம் முடியாது சார். நீங்க பண்ணிதான்
we need your research to us.
இல்ல மேம், நல்ல லாஸ்ட் செஷன் ரொம்ப நல்லா இருந்தது இல்ல மேம்.
அதான் we need his expertise.
ஐயப்பா நம்ம எக்ஸ்பர்ட் எல்லாம் இல்ல, சிம்பிள் பீப்புள்.
மேம்
நிறைகுடம் என்னைக்குமே தழும்பாது.
நிறைகுடம் தழும்பாது. டாக்டர் ஜோஸ்பின் மேம், குட் ஈவினிங் மேம்.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Good evening.
ஜோஸ்பின் மேடம், குட் ஈவினிங் மேடம்.
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, sir.
குட் ஈவினிங்.
மேடம் ஆரம்பிச்சிட்டீங்களா?
ஓகே மேம். இன்னும் ஒரு 5 மினிட்ஸ் இருக்குல்லங்க.
இருக்கு டைம். ஒரு 3
பார்ட்டிசிபென்ட்ஸ் வரட்டும் மேம். இன்னும் ஒரு 50 பார்ட்டிசிபென்ட். இதுல என்னன்னா ஃபீட்பேக் ஃபார்ம் ஃபில் பண்ணாதான் சர்டிபிகேட் ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்கா ஜெனரேட் ஆகுன்றது கூட இன்னும் தெரிஞ்சுக்காம இருக்காங்க சார் பார்ட்டிசிபென்ட்ஸ். சர்டிபிகேட் கொடுனா நான் எங்க இருந்து கொடுப்பேன்? ஃபீட்பேக் ஃபார்ம் ஃபில் பண்ணீங்கன்னா எனக்கு கிடைக்கல ஃபீட்பேக் ஃபார்ம்ன்றாங்க. அது தெரியல. அது அவேர்னஸ் ஃபார்ம் ரிஜிஸ்டர் பண்ணிட்டாலே நம்மளுக்கு சர்டிபிகேட் வந்துரும் அப்படின்ற மாதிரி எல்லாம் நினைக்கிறாங்க சார்.
அது எஜுகேட் பண்றது கஷ்டம்.
அதுதான் திருப்பி கஷ்டமா இருக்குது. அது திருப்பி அவங்களுக்கு சொல்லி சிலருக்கு போட்டு
அந்த லாஜிஸ்டிக்ஸ்
அதுதான் டைம் ஆகுது நமக்கு. கொஞ்சம் வெயிட் பண்ணாங்கன்னா பரவாயில்ல. எல்லா ப்ரோக்ராமும் முடிச்சிட்டு ஃப்ரீயா இருக்கும்போது நான் இதை கொடுக்கறதே கூட வேலையா வச்சிட்டு இருப்பேன். அதெல்லாம்
thing is you are doing it all alone. அந்த மாதிரி work, that's a problem.
அது இப்ப கூட ஒரு பார்ட்டிசிபென்ட்ஸ் மெசேஜ் அனுப்பியிருக்காங்க. ஃபீட்பேக் ஃபில் பண்ணீங்களான்னா எனக்கு அப்படி அந்த மாதிரி எதையும் நான் பண்ணதில்ல, நான் எதுவும் எனக்கு கிடைக்கல அப்படின்னு போட்டிருக்காங்க. அப்போ நான் என்ன பண்ண முடியும் சொல்லுங்க? ஆனா எனக்கு குறை மட்டும் சொல்லியிருக்காங்க, ஒரு வாரமா நீ சர்டிபிகேட் கொடுக்கல அப்படின்னு இருக்காங்க. வரல எனக்கு. அதுதான் கொஞ்சம் ஒரு ரெகுலரா இதை பண்றவங்களுக்கு கரெக்டா புரிஞ்சிருது.
பட் இந்த ஆடியன்ஸ் வந்து you see them almost daily basisல வர்றவங்க same people are attending.
அவங்களுக்கு பிரச்சனை இல்ல சார். அவங்க கரெக்டா ஃபில் பண்ணிடுவாங்க, கரெக்டா எடுத்துப்பாங்க, வெயிட் பண்ணவும் செய்வாங்க. நம்மளுக்கு எப்படி 2 டேஸ்ல கொடுத்துருவாங்கன்றது புரியும். டிஸ்டர்ப் பண்ணவே மாட்டாங்க.
ஓகே ஓகே.
இது கரெக்டா தெரியாதவங்க, அது மாதிரி புரிஞ்சுக்காதவங்க, அது மாதிரி தான். மற்றபடிக்கு பார்ட்டிசிபென்ட்ஸ் ரெகுலரா வர்றவங்களுக்கு எந்த பிரச்சனையும் இல்லை. ரெகுலரா வர்றவங்களால நமக்கு எந்த ப்ராப்ளம் இல்லை. அவங்க வெயிட் பண்ணுவாங்க. நான் கரெக்டா நான் கொடுத்துக்கிட்டு இருக்கோம். 2 டேஸ்க்குள்ள நான் அனுப்பிடுவேன்.
அதான் சொன்னீங்கல்ல, டே நைட் 24/7.
இந்த மேடம் 2 பேரும் நல்ல சப்போர்ட். இவங்க 2 பேரும் வராத இன்னைக்கு தான் எனக்கு ரொம்ப கஷ்டம்.
அன்னைக்கு குழம்பு போச்சுல.
2 பேருமே வரல இன்னைக்கு.
Maybe I think that was
வரலனா நான் இவங்க மேடம் ஊருக்கு போயிட்டாங்க பிரேமலதாவோட ஃபங்க்ஷனுக்கு. அந்த மேடத்துக்கு நான் கூப்பிடவே இல்லை, இன்ஃபார்ம் பண்ணவே இல்லை. அவங்களுக்கு ஃபோன் பண்ணி
But moreover you had 2 webinars on the same day.
அதுதான் அன்னைக்கு ஃபீட்பேக் கொஞ்சம் கன்ஃபியூஷன் ஆயிடுச்சு சார். ரிஜிஸ்ட்ரேஷன் ஃபார்ம்ல அட்டாச் பண்ணியாச்சு. அதனால கொஞ்சம் ஓபன் ஆகல. அதுதான் சார் ப்ராப்ளம் ஆயிடுச்சு.
ஏதாவது இது if there is some problem please immediate நீங்க ஒன்னு அன்மியூட் பண்ணி சொல்லுங்க.
ஃபோன் பண்ணிக்கலாம்ல சார்? உங்க ஃபோன்
பக்கத்துல தான் இருக்கு. otherwise also you unmute and tell me it's not clear or something.
சரிங்க சார். ஓகே சார், we can start sir.
Yes, yes, yes.
Dr. Josephine ma'am. Okay, start
Yes.
பண்ணிடலாமா? Okay.
Yes.
A very good evening to you all. It is a great honor and an immense pleasure for me to welcome you all for this one-day national webinar on life skills education to teachers and teacher educators on behalf of Center for Capacity Building Programs for School Teachers, Tamil Nadu Teachers Education University, Chennai. Now I request Dr. Araki Elizabeth Josephine, Assistant Professor of Biological Science, Stella Matituna College of Education, Chennai, to deliver the welcome address. Please, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Good evening, everyone. On behalf of Center for Capacity Building Programs for School Teachers, Tamil Nadu Teachers Education University, I would like to extend a very warm welcome to all of you, dear participants. We appreciate you for taking time to join us today to attend this webinar on life skills education to teachers and teacher educators. Life skills have been defined as the abilities for adaptive and positive behavior that enable individuals to deal effectively with the demands and challenges of everyday life. Hence, it is the responsibility of teachers to give importance for life skills in their teaching. I hope all the participants, you all find this session more fruitful and beneficial. To begin this program, I would like to extend my gratitude to the patron, our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor N. Panjanadam, Tamil Nadu Teachers Education University, for his kind support and guidance. I also record my deep and sincere gratitude to our co-patron, Registered Professor V. Balakrishnan, Tamil Nadu Teachers Education University, for his encouragement and meticulous guidance. I extend my sincere thanks to our Dean of Faculty and Head of the Department, Educational Psychology, Tamil Nadu Teachers Education University, Professor M. Govindan, for his tremendous support and guidance. I am very happy to express my thanks to Dr. T. Sivashakti Rajamal, Assistant Professor, Tamil Nadu Teachers Education University, for her hard work and continuous efforts she's taking to organize such a wonderful webinar, this online webinar. Delighted to welcome you, ma'am, for today's session. My sincere thanks to, I'm also very happy to welcome Dr. T. Hemalata, ma'am, Assistant Professor, Bharatiyar University. Welcome you, ma'am. My sincere thanks to all the organizing joint secretaries and organizing committee members for their constant support and suggestions. Once again, a very warm welcome to all of you. To begin today's session on life skills education to teachers and teacher educators, we have an eminent personality with us. It's a great honor for me to welcome and introduce our eminent resource person of today's session, Dr. Robert Clive, Associate Professor in the Department of Social Sciences, Crossland College, Udupi. He has 3 decades of experience as an academician, counselor, and a trainer. Sir, after completing his master's in social work from the University of Madras with the distinction of being the best outgoing student of his batch, he started his career as a counselor in Bangalore. He completed his PhD from Mangalore University. Sir is also holds a postgraduate diploma in counseling and MBA in human resource management. As an academician, he has attended more than 120 national and international conferences in India and abroad, and has been a resource person in many conferences. Sir has published 4 books on life skills and soft skills. He has more than 25 publications to his credit. Sir has completed 3 research projects sponsored by UGC and Rajiv Gandhi National Institute of Youth Development. He is a member in the Board of Studies and IQSCs of several universities and autonomous institutions such as Mangalore University, Jumkur University, Roshni Nilaya Mangalore, Manipal College of Nursing. His passion for reaching out to the students, teachers, and parents has taken him to more than 300 institutions across India. Sir has conducted more than 400 programs for students, parents, corporate employees, teachers, hospital staff, sales personnel, government employees. He is a master trainer in life skills. Sir has been a member in the panel of soft skill trainers of Central Council of Indian Medicine, Ministry of Ayush, Government of India, New Delhi. We are very privileged to have an opportunity to listen to you this evening, sir. On behalf of Center for Capacity Building Programs for School Teachers, Tamil Nadu Teachers Education University, and all who have gathered here, I am very delighted to welcome you, sir, to this national online webinar on life skills education to teachers and teacher educators. We are delighted to welcome you, sir. Let me request our resource person to take over the session. Welcome you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Elizabeth, for that
Thank you, madam.
very kind, long introduction. Okay, so I'll just, am I audible?
Yes,
My
sir,
voice
yes,
is
sir,
clear?
yes, sir,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
sir,
yeah.
very clear. Yes.
Okay, okay.
Yes, sir, yes, sir. Shruti madam, Javahar
Yes,
sir இருக்காங்க.
Ma'am?
Javahar sir.
Okay, okay. Ma'am.
Yes, Dr. Shivashakti, my screen is clear, no?
Yes,
It's
sir, yes,
visible?
sir. Clear,
Okay.
sir. Yes,
Okay, okay. Thank you so much.
thank you, sir.
Please do not mistake that it is the last slide by mistake I started it. Obviously
Yes, sir.
not. Obviously not. It's by choice. I
Okay, sir.
have made that as a first slide. Probably I don't have a thanks slide at the end. So I just like to say thanks to Dr. Shivashakti. Maybe, I think it's probably, it's a destiny or God's plan. I don't know how we get connected to people. Maybe this time of my life, I feel really, really honored and privileged to have such a contact to reach to such a large number of people and also to listen to so many people through this platform. So therefore, maybe now I'm not able to see you, Dr. Sushakti, but my sincere thanks to you for really getting connected this way. So as I said, maybe it's got
now 300 participants available.
Yeah. So I'm sure, I'm just coming to that. So thank you so much to you, first of all, for this opportunity and to the university. So it's a really, I think a very active university with so many programs, and particularly your center, I think you are doing a lot of work, but that too single-handedly. So it's not just to praise you, but certain things when we have to say, we have to say. So that's why I just start with that. Okay. Now the next slide, it's a congratulations message to the entire team of Dr. Shivashakti for organizing such a large number of webinars. In fact, in one of the webinars, I happened to be a speaker. But after that, whenever I get the link, I somehow listen to speakers. It's a wide variety of speakers, and definitely it has been very useful. So I must congratulate you for taking such an effort. And Dr. Shivashakti was saying they are almost coming very close to 100, and that we are waiting for that
2
century.
weeks.
I would
2
yeah,
weeks only. 2
in
weeks
2
only.
weeks, in 2 weeks. So
Yes.
we have seen only for films and such kind of things, or cricket we see, but one single department organizing such a large number of webinars, perhaps the first in India or even in the world, I don't know. But anyway, you are spending a lot of sleepless nights and working tirelessly, very systematically, and I just want to take this opportunity to really congratulate.
Thank you so much.
And the next slide is this. I just like to really say in a very positive way. I have put 2 words here: webinar and addiction. Dr. Shivashakti and team, you have created an addiction now. I don't know whether you have realized, but in a very positive sense, you created a webinar addiction. See, by 4:30, nearly you're saying 300 people. My God, that's actually, even if let's say 25% of people are still very actively listening, that number comes to about close to about 75, 80. It could be somewhere in that range. And that's not a small number. So therefore, there is some kind of environment that you have created, a positive messaging saying that there is every day there is something to learn, because anyway you are sitting at home, you have access to data, you have access to these instruments. So therefore, once again, I'm just positively complimenting you for creating this kind of a positive addiction for knowledge through your webinar. So once again, really, really thank you so much for bringing so many resource persons, into your platforms. You provided opportunities to many people, and through that, thousands of people have reaped the benefit. I don't know whether you have realized, thousands of people have listened, and this ripple effect, what we call, from one person, it reaches to so many, even if let's say out of 500, 50 people are transferring that to their students, their family members, their colleagues. That's a big change. In that sense, definitely you are a change agent. So I just want to salute you on this day. Now I just want to really, so you can take that as a pat on your back. Now I just want to really thank God, in spite of all these disturbances outside, every day, so many cases, so many deaths, disturbances everywhere. But in spite of that, thank God at this time at 4:40 today, 30th of September, God has given us an opportunity to come together like this. I just like to really, start with that positive messaging. I just like to play a small visual for you, please. even if there is some network problem, you don't have to worry. The message is that, thank God, I got one more day in my life. That's what I think. In spite of all the introductions that you said, I just like to humbly say that 30 years I've been teaching. I love teaching. Not a single moment I ever thought why I came to be this profession. In fact, I started as a counselor. That is a very passionate work. But at some point of time, I thought I should get into teaching. But even after 30 years, this is my 31st year. At even 1 minute, I never thought why I came to this place, why I became a teacher. Not at all. So to me, I'm a passionate teacher. In spite of all that qualification, it doesn't matter to me. But if I'm able to really communicate a few messages today, I think that is what I'm so happy about it. So let's really thank God. Why I'm saying is, in fact, that's one point of my own life. I couldn't speak for about, 2-3 months. Suddenly I had a cough. I thought I would really die. And in fact, I even went for a scanning, MRI, all that. Doctors even said it could be cancer. But, I went through all that. But my vocal cord got damaged. And the doctor said, you can't speak now. For 10 days, I couldn't speak. And I thought my career is over. But after that, whenever I just, in the morning when I get up, even at least for a few seconds, and I just sit upon my bed and say, thank God, one more day in my life. So therefore, I just feel that, teachers, whoever is attending this, today is a beautiful day. Let's really spend another 1 hour also together with a few meaningful messages. And today, when I just took this topic, when I just told Lakshmi Shakti, I said, it's something very generic I'm talking about. And, I said life skills for teachers are life skills to teachers, but not to you, really speaking. It is something that I want to sensitize about the need of life skills for our children at this time of pandemic, or even after that, when we go back to the campuses or when they come back to the campuses. Now, I also at this, other side, I also sympathize with my own fellow teachers. This afternoon, I was, talking to a youngster. He said, sir, at least I know 5 people are committed suicide, teachers, because they are not paid the salaries. At least I know 22 teachers died because of things like heart attack because they're too stressed. I'm sure you would agree with me. Teachers also go through stress. But you did have, if you have been attending the series of webinars by this center, there was a session on stress management. It was wonderful. It was actually a mind-blowing discussion on that topic. I'm not getting into that. So dear teachers, please, I am not an expert in this. I've been in teaching. I've been passionate in reaching out to students, and I don't claim to be an expert, but visiting close to 300 plus institutions, that's again a God's blessing on, me. I could meet more than 10,000 plus children or students in that age group. And whatever I'm sharing today, maybe something of what I read, what I've heard, and most of it is from what I really have learned from these children. I'm reflecting back here during this, another 1 hour through this platform. So teachers, even if you're stressed, perhaps a few things, what I'm going to share may be of some use to you. But even if it is not useful, I'm sure we can together bring a big difference in the lives of our students. And actually speaking, teachers are supposed to be thanked. I want to thank you, dear teachers, not because, you are doing a, online class. Absolutely not. But please remember, in my career guidance, I'm just giving a small example, career guidance sessions. I just asked children, how many of you want to become doctors? In any group of 100, at least close to about roughly about 30 to 40% will raise their hands to become doctors. And then I ask, how many of you want to become engineers? And roughly another 55 to 58% will raise their hands to become engineers. Then I will ask, okay, what else? Then some will say a few, 2-3 will say lawyers. After all this, I will ask, how many of you want to become teachers? Not even single one. And I'm talking about, probably I got very less opportunities to visit government institutions, schools. I do, but most of these are, little high profile schools where I go, and not even one child would raise the hands saying that, he or she wants to be a teacher. then I tell them, my dear children, your children, the next generation will not be able to get the good teachers you got, because people who do not want to really get into anything, they will become a teachers. That's why I'm saying, teachers, I salute you, because this is something that I truly, truly believe can make a big difference in the entire world in all aspects of life. I would like to begin today's my entire interaction with you through 5 real stories in the beginning. And my the scope of discussion today would be why we really talk about the importance of life skills for our students, or in our own life for that matter, our own children. The next part will be how we can integrate this life skills into our own day-to-day teaching, whether it is online or offline, and probably how we can also observe children learning life skills. Now, why it has become so important is because the home where the life skills are supposed to take place, it is not taking place. So we teachers have a responsibility to really teach them. So let me begin now my stories. The first story is this. This is a story of a girl, a real story I'm sharing. You don't know about the person whom I'm sharing about. Therefore, I'm sure I'm not breaking the confidentiality. So I met this girl in one of the sessions. At that point of time, she was in class 10. Exactly after a year, her father called me one day and said, "Sir, I want to speak to you. I took your number during the session." And I said, "Yes, please. I want to speak to you." And when he said that, that's exactly the time, the doctor had told me to take a break for a month. I said, "I can't speak." Then he said, "No, sir, I'll come home. Just give us half an hour time." Since he was pestering, I just, said yes. He came with his daughter. The point was this, I'm just, briefly mentioning these things. The point was this girl, when she got into class 11, through her friend, without informing the parents, she went for a hair straightening because somebody said her hair doesn't look good. She went for a hair straightening. And the friend said, it's okay, every month you can pay in installments. It was about 7,000 rupees. When she came home, the parents were very unhappy. They scolded, but she didn't care. But within a week, she lost almost 90% of her hair. Then she locked down inside her room. She said, "I'm not going to college. People will mock at me, laugh at me." And the parents had a tough time. She even attempted cutting her veins and all that, attempted suicide. Then they brought her to me and said, "Speak." I spoke to her for almost 1.5 hours, but she was not convinced. She said, "I'm not going to college." And, here we call it a pre-university degree, so it's called a college. Now, this is my first case, or rather a first child, where a difficulty in accepting her own self or having a problem with her own self-esteem. And, it's very difficult to really for her to trust anyone and also go out. So it's the first case. The second case is similarly in another session where I just met this girl. I finished, it was a day-long life skills session. I finished. It was, time for me to pack my laptop, and I just moving, and the attendant came for closing the door. And, we are all about to go. Then this girl came and said, "Sir, I want to speak to you." I said, "We'll go out and speak." "No, sir, here I want to speak. I need only 5 minutes." We started. She just shared her story. Her friend was standing little away. The story is simply like this. When she was in class 10, she met a boy who was studying in a college in the same city through Facebook. They became friends, and all that outing, everything happened. One day, bunking the class, this boy took her to his home, and very surprisingly on that day, his father came home. Seeing these two together in a very uncomfortable position, he almost threw them out and called her parents. They came, they took her, and they again brought her back to this home and said, "We don't need you. You are a waste now." And, she was like a football, for 3-4 days, she was thrown here and there. Finally, they took her back. And after saying all, it took almost a half an hour for us to have this discussion. After that, I said, "My dear girl, you're sharing all this, but not a single drop of tears." Then she said this word, please mark my words. She said, "Sir, I have cried enough. I don't have tears to cry now." Now, this is another case of how children are not able to manage their relationships, particularly with opposite sex at this stage, especially the adolescent stage. Teachers, they need someone to really help them. My third case, it happened just about a few days before. One evening, a boy calls me and says, I want to speak to you. Are you free? He put a message. I said, we are in touch. I said, yes, yeah, you can call me. Then, I called him, in fact, called him back and said, sir, yesterday I tried, your number was busy. Then, I was disturbed. And, I wanted to speak to somebody. Then I took the helpline from the state government. I spoke to a person because I was getting repeatedly suicidal tendencies. And that person spoke to me for about an hour and said, don't worry, anytime you can call. And he spoke to me for about 30 to 40 minutes. And it was again another clear case, very recently, case of where children really do not have control over their emotions. They are too impulsive and they are unable to even control the thoughts of taking their life. Please remember, committing suicide is not easy. It is one of the toughest decisions in life. But if a child is going through that pain, that means their ecosystem that we are living in is not conducive for a child to lead a normal life. Then this is another case which I am not really directly involved, but last year it happened here, in the state, where a boy was playing PUBG and his father scolded him. He got wild and he took a knife. He killed his father on the spot at home. And somebody complained and police came. He was arrested. He was taken in a jeep. At that point of time also, he did not have even have a small iota of remorse or a guilt feeling. He was pleading to the policeman, sir, please give your phone. There is something still remaining in that game I didn't complete. He did not think about the, kind of damage he has done to his family, but he was talking about his game. Of course, now the government has banned it, but I'm talking about how children are getting into addictions. We speak about drugs on the one side, but on the other side, so many kind of other things, which children are exposed to and they are helpless without guidance. Now, this is another beautiful story which I just want to share, but this is something very positive. And this girl is somebody, whom I know even when she was very small. She's a daughter of one of my friends who is also a teacher in a college. And you can see a picture here on the left and the right. There was an accident very close by where we live. The car got into the ditch in a pond, and people inside could not come out. Somehow, they brought out, and many people, it was during the lockdown time, many people were really not ready to go near. But this class 10 student, the school is in our campus. She just, went, her house is very close by. She went out, and this lady whom she's helping, giving the first aid, she thought, everybody thought she was dead. But she provided the first aid and she survived. The lady survived. And she was immediately, actually felicitated by media. And somebody even from a TV channel called me and said, this girl, what's your opinion? I felt so proud and happy and said, my God, thank God, children are taught that kind of a life skills of helping someone, having compassion for somebody. And I think today my discussion will be around these things. Why children we need to provide children these kind of skills, and why there is a gap and how we can fill in. And I think I'll just now run through. Yesterday in the newspaper, it was reported in Bangalore, doctors have said 30% increase in the heart attack cases in the last 2 months. And they say possibly because Bangalore has some of the very high profile hospitals. They say it could be because of the mental stress, or people lost jobs, or people don't do exercise because of the lockdown and they're sitting at home. Now the point is, all of us are going through the same kind of pain where lifestyle changes have affected us to the extent that it really costs our life. So let's really not get into that very serious situation. Let us be cautious. So therefore, we have got, now I'm coming to the education, connecting to this. There are two kinds of educations. One is that the education that really makes us to gives us some power to make a living, but the other one is how to live. Teaches today my discourse or my sharing is on not about how to really make a living. We get a salary. I'm just saying, people can, live during this lockdown. People can live even with the minimum means. Many people are not buying dresses, other things. But to really lead a life, that requires some real thinking and skills. So let's see what it is. So we need to prepare our children for life, not just for the next test. So what is this preparing for this life? I just want to give you a small little story. There was an executive. He was just about 27 years old. Within 5 years after completing his education, my God, he got into a very high profile position in a big company. He was by then crorepati and he was very rich. He didn't know what to do. He bought a very splashy, big, rich, posh car. And he wanted to show it to the people in that area. So one day he took a drive in the local area. When you're just moving around at one corner of that area in a street, suddenly he heard a noise. Somebody has thrown a stone or something on his car. He stopped. He stopped and he was too anxious. He got down, but there was nobody. But in the corner of the street, there was a small boy just standing and shivering. He went very close to him and held his collar and said, "Did you throw stone at my car? How expensive, crores I have spent. It's a new car." And the boy said, "So please leave my collar. I'll explain why I did throw the stone." Then the man did not leave. I said, "Stupid. You don't know the value of my car. It's a new car. Why did you throw stone?" And the boy said, "Sir, please leave the collar. I'll explain." The man left the collar. Then the boy said, there was another small boy, younger to him. He was simply sitting and crying. "So this is my younger brother. He cannot walk and he's crippled. And I was taking him in the wheelchair. But unfortunately, the wheelchair tripped and he fell down. He's bleeding. I couldn't lift him and put him back on the wheelchair. I tried to stop many vehicles. Nobody stopped. I didn't know what to do. My brother is in pain and crying. And finally, I thought, if I throw a stone, somebody will stop. Then I can ask for the help. So please, I'm so sorry if I have really made damage, but please help me to put my brother back on the wheelchair." The man was moved. He took the kerchief, wiped the blood of the boy's, wounds, and he said, "Can I take you to where you want?" Then the boy said, "No, sir, I'll take him to the, my home, but please help me to put my brother back on the wheelchair." He did. And the man, boy said, "Thank you, sir." Then the man said, "You don't have to thank me. I have to thank you because so far I never really opened my eyes to see the people around me. And you have opened my eyes to see what is life all about." Dear friends, I think this is what my message is. We can really have a flashy lifestyle. We can have all kind of qualifications. If you're not open to the life around, I think that education is a meaningless and it is just a certificate of paper. So therefore, let's really go what that kind of values or life skills means. So why we need to have these life skills for teachers? So to me, the first thing that comes to my mind is this crippled butterfly. So once there is a small, kind of a butterfly which from the cocoon, it was slowly coming out. A boy was watching it every day and, he was so excited, but it was not coming out. He was waiting for 1 day, 2 days, but the caterpillar was still inside and it was closed, half it came out. So one day what he did, he took that cocoon and he just opened it. He put that butterfly onto the ground. He was waiting for seeing that the butterfly will fly. But unfortunately, the butterfly never flew. He called his mother, "Ma, I did that, but look at this butterfly, it's not flying." Then she asked, "What did you do?" Then he said, "I just took, helped it to come out." Then she said, "My dear child, that's not the way. The butterfly has to come out automatically. Now you're crippled that butterfly, it will never fly." I think it's the kind of modern parenting. Most of our children, just like this, they are like crippled butterflies. They're not prepared to really take on life. So let's really have some assistance, help, guidance to these children who need our help. And as somebody said, this Gabriela is a poet, a Chilean poet. and she was even given a Nobel Prize in literature. She says, we are guilty of many errors and many faults, but our worst crime is abandoning the children, neglecting the foundation of life. Many of the things we need can wait, but the children cannot. Right now is the time. His bones are being formed, his blood is being made, and his sense of being developed to him. We cannot answer tomorrow. His name is today. Teachers, that's why I'm saying we really have to start the mission today. You know why? India is labeled as the most depressed country in the world. And they say in a survey, 36% of the people are depressed. But you know how many psychiatrists we have today in India? Depression requires a psychiatrist help. We have about close to 9,000 psychiatrists, but not all of them are in India. So which means we can be really concerned. We have got about 140 crore people in India, but we have close to about 9,000 psychiatrists. You can understand how serious this is. And there is a small, we speak about this pandemic. Look at this tragedy, this pandemic that is hitting our children very hard. The amount of suicide, and they say roughly every 1 hour a child is committing suicide. And last year, 2019, we had close to 140,000 people committing suicide, and close to about 30% of them are youngsters. And we shouldn't allow this to happen. How? This not in this way, where our education system, we provide them all kind of knowledge, and they come out like donkeys. No, not certainly not. And not like this education either. We provide them knowledge, but definitely not the skills how to really, they have to manage themselves. I hope you understand from the cartoon what I mean. And why I'm talking about. So I'll just give a few reasons maybe for the next few minutes. Probably I'll not really talk about the, only the life skills, that, normally what we speak about or we read about. There are different modules available when you go to Google or on YouTube. WHO has given 10 life skills, and NIMHANS has its own module, and CBSE has its own module. So I will not get into any specific school of thought, but I want to really put a context why children need to have these life skills. And maybe I'll just conclude with what are these life skills that we can integrate into our own day-to-day life with the children. So the first part is the rat race our children are forced to go through. What is this rat race? It's like this. It seems once a group of rats were running and running. And suddenly one interviewer comes and, he stops. Hey, come on, rats, stop. No, none of the rats stopped. One rat stopped. And the interviewer asked, excuse me, what are you doing? Then the rat said, can't you see I'm running? Okay, I'm sorry. Why are you running? Then the rat said, I don't know, all are running, so I'm also running. Then the interviewer asked one more question. No, quick, I have to catch up. What is that question? Then the interviewer asked, may I know, where are you running to? Then the rat again said, I don't know, I'm just following where everybody is running. This is literally the rat race. Look at, this statement. The problem with the rat race is, even if somebody wins, you are still a rat. You are not able to really refine yourself into a good humans. Therefore, we have put our children into the rat race. So what do I mean by that? Let me explain. See, we have almost, stopped being human. We have made the children into the robots, into machines. We have not evolved into humans, but we are evolving slowly into the robots. Now look at this kind of an approach from parents. Look at what the cartoon says. See, we expect very high from children, and if some child, doesn't perform, look at as this man says, this is a spare child, just like a kind of a stepney tire we keep in the vehicles. So this is something that our parents, we as parents sometimes have too much expectations from, our children. We squeeze. You can see nowadays, due to the lockdown, many people have a lot of time, and they take videos with the children, and it looks like fun. It is not fun. And, somehow torturing children pleading and crying. Please don't ever put such videos, because that's not amusing. It is actually a kind of very painful. So parents are really now kind of squeezing the children. And I'm sure you'll be able to connect to the scenes that I'm showing here. In that film, Three Idiots, or in Tamil it was called Nanban, where, meaningless things that people do, and where, somebody even makes an attempt to commit suicide. But at the end, the story ends beautifully, the creativity is honored, all that. But somewhere, have we not created a system where everybody run and run and run? That's what they will say in that film. And another film, which I've seen many times in recent time, is that a Tamil film by name Viswasam. If you've not seen it, probably there's a message in that. The father tells his daughter to win his life, to lose his death. And the child keeps really running. She never be able to win. Finally, she takes drugs, and she was found out, and she commits attempts to commit suicide. She's crippled for life. But of course, at the end of the film, the message is that there is some kind of a magic miracle happening. The child comes back to normal life. But the point that I'm saying is, this is not the message that has to go from parents to children. To win his life, to lose his death. My God, what message are we sending out? And this is a kind of a comedy that we are in now, or tragedy, you call it. And each year, even this year for that matter, even though we are in the lockdown pandemic, close to about 12 to 13 lakh children registered for both JEE and NEET. These are the creamy children struggling for 2 years, 3 years to get into a medical school, or through IITs. Just to give you a picture of it, what this rat race is all about. In India, we have got close to about 70,000 MBBS seats. But we have about 12 to 13 lakh children writing. Close to 7 lakh children will, clear it. And where is actually this race ending? Already in Tamil Nadu, we have seen, how before exam and after exam, children taking their lives with the letters which are moving, touching. But that loss is only to that family, all of us, we forget. But somewhere I feel we have taken the children to that kind of a pressure cooker situation. Even with the JEE, we have only 10,000 seats in IITs, in 20 IITs. And we have got about another 30,000 seats in NITs. So we have such a kind of a madness or mad rush for these kind of aspirations. So it has, this is this high, but a child is only praying, my God, let me get there. It's not that easy, but the situation is this. The next part is, we with the modern parenting, there's a kind of over parenting. We call it as, in fact, even helicopter parenting. And I just put this slide, parents actually put kind of a checklist for children. Morning, you get up at this time, then, even during this time, you can see half an hour in the morning music class online, then half an hour other class. My God, we really fail to make children to live a normal childhood life. So therefore, there is a danger, dear teachers. And, we want all our children to be super kids, like, Batman or whatever you call it. And that's not going to happen. Children are children. Each one has his own ability, and expecting something, beyond that. And that's where we have this depression and suicide, all that. I look at the kind of pressure. I'm just putting a kind of a very symbolic kind of a picture, but the statistics is really, really disturbing. And they, small children committing suicide, my God, 6th standard, 5th standard, 7th standard, that's something unacceptable. We are killing them. It's a murder. And this is something which many people have highlighted, the Kota, suicide epidemic, where, it's a coaching factory. There are more than 2,000, 3,000 factories which coach children, and many of them commit suicide because they cannot make it. And these are kind of a trends where children even live stream their own, taking of lives. Now, I'm just giving a kind of a very scary picture. This is not something desirable. We need to equip our children. And this happened last year when Telangana, when children failed in, class 11 and 12, the number of suicide, it was something very, very painful for those families. But this is what is happening. And as somebody said, 2030, depression will be the #1 mental health issue. How many of our planners, thinkers, educationists have thought about it? Mental health, is it really a big concern in our minds? As I said, with just 9,000 or, odd psychiatrists, and we probably may have a few more psychologists. That's it. Can we reach out? Teachers, we have a big role. Time magazine really captured this in a beautiful, kind of a cover page like this. It's a modern adolescent. Now you ask, find our children, another face of it, why the context I'm saying, they go through, especially during the last 6 months, terrible, terrible mood swings, mood disorders. You ask them, how do you feel, now, next after half an hour, terrible, terrible kind of a mood swings. And who will help them? Parents are busy. They don't have time. Teachers, we just are very happy sending out some videos, some online classes. Does it solve the problem? Can they face it? And what will happen after this 6 months, 8 months, 9 months, 1 year? It's just like children coming out of the zoo. We are seeing children, we are having university exams now. When they come, they are as usual. They want to just move around. So it's not easy really to imagine that kind of a situation. And, they feel very low. They have a very low self-esteem. And, they somehow, feel that they are worthless. And, I'm just giving a kind of a situation which everyday life, all across situations, we are seeing this. Now, when you speak about, we create a kind of an ideal self. You should be like this. And children every day try to live up to that. When they fail, they come to a conclusion, I am worthless. So let's really not create that situation. And most of the children, now anyway, mask is compulsory. They wear a mask. They're not comfortable showing their real self. And, they, cry for, die for, that likes online. They're so uncomfortable with their body image. And this is something which we need to really understand. And, when we speak about a low self-esteem children, they keep on, pricking them. Oh, I'm not good to, kind of negative belief, negative statements about them. And, they are, very perfectionist. And they always, feel that they are a failure. And they're too anxious about future. And finally, they say, I'm useless. So this is something that we need to change. We can change. And the next part is the peer pressure. Hey, come on, man, one, beer, one cigarette, nothing will happen. And, all these kind of, peer pressure leads to now, even online. I'm just going to take you to that step now. Online also, there's a tremendous amount of peer pressure. Many parents are scared to give their mobile phones or laptop and leave the children there. And why this is happening, there is a change totally. I'm talking about life skills for teachers and for us to really transfer to our children, because at one point of time, we never spoke about it till WHO or UNICEF came with this kind of concepts. It was never CBSE spoke about it. That is because those days in the families, we learned the life skills. We're together, giving, sharing, when somebody's in pain, listening to that person, comforting them. But now look at the kind of a family situation. We are so close, but we are still far off. We have so many devices, but we are not connected. And, there is a terrible amount. And in fact, some schools say when the child is admitted in the school, both the father and mother come. But after 1 month, rather 1 year, rather, one parent comes say, excuse me, please next time if my ex-wife comes, please don't let the child to go with her because we are divorced. See the kind of trauma children go through. I'm not saying, people shouldn't divorce, but the point is the trauma a child goes through in this kind of a family setup. There's a terrible disconnect and a gap, happening between the generations. Generation X, Y, then Z, now generation Alpha. My God, it's very difficult to connect. And this is what I just spoke about, terrible amount of trust deficit, extramarital affair. In fact, I just want to give you a small little example. In one of the sessions when I had again in another city, I had my first session. I just finished for my tea break. Then a boy comes to me and says, sir, she's my friend. Will you please talk to her? I said, now I don't know whether I have time. Please, I like try. This girl comes to me. See, look at the maturity. We say children are not mature. There are children mature. And she comes to me and started saying a few sentences. She started crying. I said, please don't cry. People are watching you. Then I said, is it okay if I speak to you in the afternoon? She said, fine. During the lunch break, she just was waiting outside the door. I was having lunch with the principal of that school. And I just came out and said, then I said, if you need to speak to me for a long time, in the evening I have some time, can you wait? She said, yes, sir. I spoke to her in the evening. She came in. initially I thought about 5-10 minutes, and then it went on for almost half an hour. I'm laughing. But this girl for first 5 minutes only cried. I held her hands and said, it's okay, cry. Then she said, so when I was in 7th standard, after school hours, when I went home, when I just came in, the door was open. It was only in the evening. When I went in, my mom's bedroom was open, but she was with somebody else. I ran out. I just went and sat in the bus stand. I came home late in the night. And I never told this to my dad because he's a nice man. And she's crying and crying, sir, I have thought many times to kill myself because I can't live in this house. Now look at the kind of pain children go through. I'm just giving you a real kind of experience. So please, let's reach out to the children with this kind of pain. And now we have got all this kind of sandwich generation where, we are so, kind of in a busy life, dink families where double income, no kids, kids are considered to be a big burden. So this generation between Appa and then, parents and the kids, it's a real big problem. And look at the kind of multitasking women are forced to. So where is the time for children? They're too busy. And our relationships have become again online, wishing, during the Father's Day, Mother's Day, happy Father's Day, Appa. And, this kind of things are really becoming too common now. But the danger is with all that, look at what children are going through. This is something very shocking, where in a survey, they found 46% of children, they watch pornography. And 3 out of 10 students of class 10 in city schools, they already had experimented with sex. And which is something not, just shocking, surprising, because we always think that, no, these things don't happen. It do. And, this is something the generation now wants. In fact, there are advertisements like this, how to increase, your Facebook likes, just like in an hour. My God, what a kind of a generation we have created. They're craving for that one thumbs up and that, kind of likes and shares. And, some people even call us, please share this and put a like. Their life depends on that. And I'm sure where it has taken our children to that online behavior. I'm sure you're all familiar with what I'm talking about, boys' locker room, where in Delhi, the children, they were discussing among themselves online. They're discussing about raping their own classmates and, the different people. And obviously, people came to know of it. But then, is it only case? Definitely not. So therefore, let's be aware, even in the online, it is happening. Now, what is happening with the social media and children, hoodwinking children or, making them addicted? There is something called persuasion psychology, where, any of the social media, they manipulate the children's behavior to fall in certain way of kind of thinking, feeling, and behavior. And our children are addicted now. And it causes terrible amount of depression. In fact, children, they put in their status, Facebook, married, divorced, separate, this kind of status. Children. So let's really be aware of things that are happening. So these are the common things, likes, then comment, views, they thrive on that, they live on that. So let's not really run away from the reality. This is what is happening. And as a result, what it has taken us is in immense, there is a clinic called Shut Clinic, where service for healthy use of technology. Hundreds of children are taken there now for this addiction. And there are very few rehabilitation centers for this addiction. For drug addiction, yes, but not for this. These are really moving very bad. I am skipping this video. Now it takes little time. The next part is the growing amount of insensitivity. It happened in one of the cities in our country where, a few boys, they brought a few puppies, very young puppies. They tied them together and they brought some firewood and they burned them. They're laughing and they're taking videos of that. And this is something, another trend that we see, the growing insensitivity. And, there is very less empathy for others. And, this you would have been reading, hearing, seeing, even in the accidents, people take live videos and just upload it. But the worst part is, this is something that is, the what we call the bystander effect. where we, this happened in Chennai in a railway station where a girl saw morning 6 o'clock, she refused to love a boy. She was killed and nobody did anything. But of course, later he was arrested, then he committed suicide. But they look at the kind of the insensitivity that is growing and the kind of emotional, control that children are losing. It happened in Chennai where a teacher was murdered because she scolded him in a few previous class. He came with a knife inside the classroom. He locked the door and she killed this teacher. Now look at this one, another example of where, you may think that I'm only putting the kind of disorderly society, but I'm just only talking to you because this is a context. Probably I'll be talking the next, 15 minutes or so, how we can really connect to these children who are disturbed. Where a boy killed a, class 12, 11 boy killed a LKG, or rather UKG child in a toilet just because there was an exam next day. He wanted it to be postponed. Now, these are kind of the things that are happening. And, children don't have the patience, we want everything now. This is a small test. It was done by, in a research called the marshmallow test, where they provided marshmallow. It is, a kind of a sweet that a child is having. And they said 15 minutes, if you don't eat it, we'll keep you in a room. We will give you one more. And they observed that children who waited for 15 minutes, they got one more. They were more effective in their life than children who lost control and they started eating. Now, this is a pointer to say that children need to wait. And if you provide everything to children, and that's where actually they are disturbed. And just like this, I've seen in my many life skill sessions where children coming and saying me, one girl said in 6 months, 6 times she's cut her veins to prove a point that, you can't really do this. I'll blackmail you. And they're ready to any adventure. And, look at this kind of, adventures without license. They go and hit accidents. These are things where, our young children are prone to. And another aspect is, where children are not able to really manage the opposite sex relations. Below that, I have also shown you how children also can show a healthy way of affection and love to the opposite sex. Now, the next part is when children really grow up, 11, 12, etc. Then we put a dream, IIT, IIMs, or you should become a doctor, whatever it is. Then what? We have to provide employability skills, soft skills. And, in fact, there was a webinar yesterday. I'm not against it, but focusing on that, saying that, we will provide you the skill, then we will make sure that, in fact, I have heard where colleges put children in one room for almost a month every day and, just practicing, introduce yourself, just, and then they perform so well and they are selected in the campus selection. My God, in life it is so. Then only they understand what is life all about. And the next part is, the packages. What is the package? Oh, my son got about 1 crore plus package. We are so excited. Is that life all? What will you do for about 10 crores after about 10 years? So therefore, I think we need to deviate from this kind of thinking that normally we have. So, we shouldn't really put a kind of a thing that we need to teach them failing is okay. It's quite normal. Dare to fail. It's not all over. So now let's really come to the next part. I think I'm just coming to the concluding or the last part. So there is a tremendous amount of student resiliency that is down. What is resiliency? Like an elastic. That elasticity is not there. They immediately became dull, down, and slow. They say, my God, it's all over. But resiliency is how, look at that, when Thailand, about a coach, football coach, and, 20 children were in a cave for almost for more than 2 weeks. They were inside and still they survived without even water. They came out. That is resilience. That is life skills. Now, these are some of the things that our children who are disturbed, they go through. They are irritated. They are either hyperactive or, they are always depressed, or finally, they also go for some antisocial activities. Now, let's really see, these are the kind of things, what I've been telling people, this distress calls itself is a sign that everything is not okay with our children. And what is happening now with this, lockdown in the last 7 months, we don't really realize there is an epidemic of despair more than corona. Now, this is going to have a serious implication on mental health for years to come. Look at the kind of a lifestyle our children are having now. And they miss all these kind of things, meeting friends, daily routine, teachers, fun, laugh, games, ground. So I think, the entire habit is changed. They spend more time, sitting like this. And they say it takes about 66 days to form a new habit. Our children have formed a habit. Whatever online lessons we are teaching, please, my dear teachers, be aware. Even today I was speaking to somebody in the afternoon, a very knowledgeable person. She's saying all these things, children are not learning. Then what about, what is the, kind of use of it? I don't know. We have not really studied the impact of it. Children are going through now fear, anxiety, and terrible amount of depression, many of them, but there is nobody to listen to them because they are not meeting friends and teachers. So now what is life skills? I just want to now come and connect to our real life teachers, students in a school or in a college. I just like to really take the WHO life skills model, and where they say there are 3 types of skills, that is social skills, thinking skills, and emotional skills. And what do they do? We can really help children to think rationally, think positively. They can handle emotions. They can build confidence. They can solve problems in a better way. They make right choices. Now, it looks easy, but it is really very difficult. Now, I don't get into the really definitions, but in the beginning, like Dr. Elizabeth said, this is what life skills is all about. It is bringing in and adopting and positive behavior. They can face everyday life situations. Can we touch your heart and say, your children, my children, our students, are they ready to face everyday challenges? Somewhere there is a gap. That's why I think these skills can be helpful. So this I categorize as social skills, self-awareness, empathy, communication skills, and interpersonal skills. As I said, I don't go into the concept part of it. Maybe the last 10 minutes I'm taking. Dr. Shivashakti, I'll take about another 10 minutes. Yeah.
No problem, sir.
Yeah. So I hope I'm on track with everyone. So let me just now take these 3 components of the life skills. I think I'll conclude with that. Now then, first part. So this is a thinking skills. This set, we call it as creative thinking, critical thinking, decision making, problem solving. Once again, as I said, I don't look at that as a concept. Maybe each one of them I may give a small case, then I'll conclude. The emotional skills are this. These are the skills proposed by WHO. CBSE has integrated it, and many state governments have integrated. I'm sure Dr. Shivashakti in her center, they must have integrated as part of the capacity building for teachers training. Now, let's really take a few insights from a few slides. Now, what is self-awareness? It's basically, children becoming aware of their physical part, their emotional self, and respecting them, accepting them, and having a high self-esteem. And, I'm not getting into self-concept, self-esteem, these are all, again, different concepts, but simply a child who is self-aware has a better self-esteem. They know their strengths and weaknesses. They have a very good positive attitude towards themselves and others. They are very confident. They can face challenges. They're not scared. They're not afraid to fail. And as Steve Jobs said, please, your time is limited. Don't waste it living someone else's life. You know who you are. Use those talents. And then probably, I think life is yours. You'll fly. There is no day that you'll feel low about it because you know what you are. And if somebody asks me to sing today, I cannot because I'm not a singer. So therefore, I know my limit. I wouldn't feel bad either if somebody says, hey, Clive, you are a stupid singer. I am. I wouldn't worry at all. Now, I always give this beautiful story. If some of you attended probably a previous webinar, I did narrate this. I love to really drive home the point to the self-awareness. By chance, in this story, what happens is that a hen is hatching the eggs. And, after a few days, all the chicks come out. Along with the eggs of that, that particular chicken, there was also an egg of an eagle. And naturally, the chicken's egg, they get the chicks, and from the eagle's egg, there's an eaglet. And what do? The chicks follow the mother, dig the ground. They're so happy. But as they grew up, the eagle was really growing too big. One day it looked up and saw a bird flying very high. And it is telling the chicks, my God, look at the bird is flying so high. Then the chick said, stupid, shut up. We call that eagle the king of birds. That's the last day the eagle looked up in the sky. One day, all the chickens died and the eagle also died, just like the chickens. It never flew. It never knew that it was an eagle. Dear teachers, our children, many of them, they are born eagles, but they die like chickens because they are not aware of really what their strengths are. And this is a century-old kind of a philosophy, know thyself. Socrates said, several years before, this is still there in Greece. And we need to ask ourselves and our children, who are you? I ask always the first question, and people will say, okay, I'm Robert Clive. Okay, next, I'm a teacher. Next, okay, these are your identities, which I already know. Beyond that, many of us, I'm a good communicator. I can help others. I'm kind to others. I'm a very caring person. I always do an ice breaking. When I start, I say, okay, come on, let us really start the name with, an adjective starting with the first letter, which many of you teachers may do. And invariably, I'll start with me. I love to be called as Clive. So I'll say, my first letter is C. And I would like to be called as caring Clive because I love to care for others. What about you? And this, I am self-aware. Even if somebody makes me stupid, people cheat me, it's okay. But that's what Clive is. It's very difficult to change me. But I'll excel in that. So therefore, please let us really help the children what they are. But most of the children and most of us, the biggest problem is our own habits. So we need to help them to change the habit, just like this elephant. Once two friends were walking and they saw one elephant like this tied in, with a small rope. One friend said, man, how is it possible? They tied a big elephant in a small rope. They went and asked that, Magut who was taking care of the elephant. And he said, it's a secret. When this elephant was a calf, small, it wanted to always run. Then we used to tie it with a rope. Then when it became big, we changed the rope a little bigger. But after that, we never tied with the rope, but the elephant stays there thinking that it is still tied. Please, many of us are tied with our own beliefs, our own habits. We need to help the children really to uncover them and say, come out of that. And this is one small tool people, psychologists say can help us called Johari Window. I'm sure most of the teachers who are in the line of teaching, you would have really come across where there are 4 selves: open self, blind, hidden area, unknown. Please understand, most of us, our personality, it is an unknown area. And we know hardly 10% of what we are. And through a journey, discovery journey, we can really know about ourselves. And through others, we know about ourselves. So let's really help the children to really uncover that area, which is an unknown area. And here, this particular book, always can help children. It is on mindset. There are 2 sides of kind of mindsets, the fixed mindset and the growth mindset. Let's tell the children, don't really fixate at something. You're there to grow, and let us really create that awareness to grow and grow. I think that really is the first empowering life skill. And what to observe when children come to our school or when we are dealing with them who have high level of self-awareness or low level, they're very positive. They're always cheerful. They'll take initiative. Teacher, can you go and bring that book, teacher? They are very highly self-aware. They know their strength and weakness. They are not scared. They won't sit and cry. They won't get angry. They won't get irritated. And, they dress well. It's sort of self-confidence, not to show to others, not to get the likes. And they polish the shoes. And they, the shoes, they will tie it properly. And the bags, they'll clean it. They smile with a very good morning, teacher. And they have terrible amount of enthusiasm which catches up. They're genuine. They don't act. Now, the next part is, I'm just coming, as I said, with the last part of it, one by one. I'm just uncovering it. The next part is empathy. This is a very important life skill to me, perhaps the most important one. And in fact, I would rate this as the foundation of all other life skills. What is it? Which many of us know. As Dalai Lama said, if you want others to be happy, practice compassion. If you want to be happy, practice compassion. And that compassion is empathy. I know exactly how you feel. Don't say, oh, I understand, man. It's okay. You know, how many of our children have lost their parents, brothers, sisters during this last, 7-8 months? We cannot feel what they feel. It is very painful. But that is empathy. And in fact, if you just want to see, just watch this. This is empathy. When somebody misses something, doesn't have, I'm ready. In fact, when I saw this animated movie for the first time, in fact, I had tears in my eyes. I know, I always say the best teacher is not somebody who teaches from the head, but a teacher is somebody who can teach from the heart. Every student has a heart. Every teacher has a heart. The best teacher is somebody who can connect from the heart to heart. Please remember, this is the dictum of a teacher. Now, empathy is actually the foundation of teacher-student relationship. And children who have empathy, they can, respect others' feeling. They're highly sensitive. They won't hurt others, and they will reach out to others when they need help. As some, people always say, the expression is, can we put ourselves in somebody else's shoe? If that is the case, you are having high level of empathy. In fact, these are just, symbolic way. What to observe? They help others when they are in difficulty. They write notes when children are absent. They share things. For example, somebody didn't bring lunch. They share. And they report to teacher if somebody is crying, teacher, he is in pain. Can we all help? Now, I still remember, if I can really give small examples. Sometime back, it happened with one of my friends. I visited, met this family some time back. And my friend's daughter had a long hair. And next time, it was a really very amazing, beautiful hair. Next time when I saw the hair was cut, then I asked what happened. And then she was telling me, a few volunteers came from the Adyar Cancer Institute, and they said, we got a serious problem of making wigs for the cancer patients who lose all their hair after the chemotherapy. If you are ready, you can donate hair. And she said, Uncle, I just donated hair on that day. And that's how I lost hair. And I wanted to really touch that child's feet and say, you are a great human, because even I cannot do that. Now, to me, that is really being human and being empathetic. Now, the next part is, the next life skill, social skill is this, relationships. One of the longest studies done in relationship is this, that is the Harvard Grant study. They, this study studied people from the young age till the old age. people who lived and died, they concluded in the study saying that what kept people going and happy was only these relationships. So why to really approved one? Why should we leave that? Why should we dump it? So let us really, in our interaction, teach children these things. We tell about the equipments, user-friendly. Our washing machine is very user-friendly. Our printer is user-friendly. But what about we human beings? We are very like, kind of a rigid machine. We are not user-friendly. Means I think we are useless. So we need to have all these things in our conversations. Now, this is what I'm talking about. In our children, they'll be very caring. They will compliment others. They are not jealous. They're always cheerful. And if you are seeing this, that means please appreciate they have this life skill. That is, they can connect to anybody. They can go to any level of their job efficiency because they're extrovert. They have got always they respect others. They never try to hurt anyone. So these are some of the examples I have given. The next part is, again, this is a very big topic. I'm not entering into that. Just one slide to tell. Most often we think that communication skill is speaking. Please, my dear teachers, know. Listening is the most important thing. You know why I'm saying this? Please understand, there is no competition in the field of listening because there are very less listeners. Most of us are speakers. And enter into that competition, you will not have any competition because you will be always successful. So let us see in the students, are they listening? Are they polite? Are they courteous? Or are they really rushing? Look at their, eyes. Are they able to look at our eyes and speak? And, these are the things that, I'm just saying, a smile that tells that they have a life skill where they can communicate effectively to others. And this is something which our children really, really struggle, the decision making as a life skill. And, they find it really difficult. And that is why, in fact, I always say, making a decision to kill someone, that is killing taking their own life, it is a matter of few seconds. I've seen some of my own students killing themselves. I have also saved children, from taking their life. Now, the point is this, it's a matter of few seconds. They need to find somebody. So a decision making, even at that point of time, they have a choice. Can children really learn the skill of having choice, then making a proper choice and decide what is best? But most often, look at this, when I've heard children where they fall prey and they then come and cry saying that, that boy cheated me. In fact, I have heard a girl where she came and shared with me, out of peer pressure, they all said, can you go and kiss that boy? And she was such a shy girl, but out of that shouting, she went and kissed. But, somehow she made a wrong decision. When it came for her marriage, it was really haunting her because her own friends were just asking about that experience. So let us really teach children about this particular thing of making a right choice at any point of time. So I don't know whether I have a time for this, but I think, this is a video, probably it will give us a slight kind of 1 minute video, give a small insight about solving problems. Maybe I think it is dragging. I think so. So I'll skip it, but let me just give you another small visual. Life is so simple, but many of us, this is another skill I'm talking about. We really amplify problem as something that we cannot solve. But I've seen people, in fact, some of the most inspiring people without legs, without hands, but amazing life they have. They, instill confidence. They inspire us. And that means even the biggest problem they are able to solve. And just like in the small visual which I showed you now, see, it's just that we need to really knock at the right place and probably not knocking at the wrong place. So this is something teaching children to look at the possibilities, not just really one single window. I'm sorry. Then the next part is, people or rather children having creativity. Don't kill it. Please, all children are creative. And therefore, let us really recognize this fact. And these are the most creative people, genius. In fact, Charlie Chaplin could, never spoke in his films. But even today, when we watch his films, either we cry or we laugh. That is his creativity. Look at Steve Jobs when, the iPhone was created. People said, who will buy it? But today, it is an iconic phone. People, if you have got an iPhone, my God, it's a status symbol. So therefore, creative people are always, different. Let us not scoff at them, discourage them. Just, many teachers I've seen, just because a child thinks differently, they think that they are insulting us. Definitely not. Please allow them to run through their imagination. What are the children they exhibit? They give original answers, but very often we disapprove that. And they have different interests. They'll be good in everything, but then we say he's over smart. He's trying to show off. Let's not do that. Let's not brand them that way. This is really a sign of creativity. And usually I just show this small picture. I don't have time now, but you can do that. I just show and ask people, you're seeing something here. A man is moving in a scooter, a monkey is jumping. I ask them to, narrate a story in 5 minutes. Believe me, children come with very interesting, stories. I give the same example to teachers in the training sessions, but teachers come with very poor imagination. It will be just a ditto copy paste. So therefore, children are very creative. Let's not really stop it. And probably the last 2 slides I have. And, today children go through tremendous amount of emotional trauma. And this is the time we need to teach this life skill of handling emotions. And I've seen children throwing things, breaking things, hurting others, hurting themselves. Now, if they have this emotional control, they won't be angry. They'll be cool, calm. They'll be mindful. They can smile. They can laugh. They are not too serious. Please don't take your life seriously. I've seen some teachers walking on the corridor. People wish good morning. They don't even look at them. Come on. Nobody takes you seriously except yourself. So let us really be calm and cool. And that is actually a sign of having control over our emotions. And this is something that I always ask people. Take a Sprite or, soda bottle, whatever it is. When you just, shake it up, what happens and open it, it all splashes all around. I do this activity. Then I ask children, what happens? It comes out, splashes. Now, this is a reactive behavior, but you take a water bottle, do any amount of shaking, nothing happens to it because the water bottle is so cool. We need to teach this skill to children, being proactive, not reactive, just like the water bottle. So I just want to really touch upon here one point. As Stephen Covey says, please teach children things that we don't have control. Let's not worry. For example, there is, pandemic. We cannot change it till a vaccine is found. It is raining outside. I can't change it. But definitely I can take an umbrella and walk out. That is a proactive measure. So we'll have a cool emotions with that.
All right, that covers last quarter, Angie. Thanks for getting us up to speed. And Todd, you'll get us numbers on the redesign the end of the week. Is that correct? Excellent. All right, now the San Diego conference is coming up next month. One of the most important in our company.
No, have you not seen people like this who lose cool? And maybe they're stressed, but we have no right to dump our anger on somebody else. Let us teach this to children and let us be the role model. Let's not show our anger on our children or children showing on others. And the last part is, please, everywhere there is stress. It has become a fashion to speak about managing stress. But in simple terms, how the stress is a physics word. And when there is a lot of pressure and when we are accumulating it, not talking to someone, then it starts affecting our physical system and the emotional system. Let's really teach children not to accumulate it, to speak to somebody. Let us be that 2 ears and 2 eyes to children. Even online, it is possible. I do online class. At least once in a week, I talk to them. First 10 minutes, I ask them, how are they? Not that Clive is somebody great, no, not at all. but definitely we can be a small source of a little comfort for them. And I think I'll just skip this. So children who can really relax, they are very optimistic. They know how to dance at any point of time. They're too cool. And, they are somehow, talk to other people and, they say, excuse me, can I speak to you for 5 minutes? This strength they have. Now, I think this is the last part. What is important is this resilience we need to create in children, that is living with hope. Please, pandemic will stop. Every day in our online class also, let's tell them, you will go to the next level, you will get a job. World is not ending. And the point is, very often we pamper children, we give all comfort. We don't tell the children the kind of pains children go through. This is the best time. They are with us. Let us teach these skills to children. I think resilience is just this, telling children, if this fails, it's okay, man. There are 25 other alphabets. As I always tell people, it's a beautiful book called Option B.
Papa.
Okay. So I think I have to stop. So we need to tell children, please, this is a cycle. You're worrying about something. Can you stop it? No. And can you do something? No. Then why worrying about it? So let us face it. Let's equip our children, empower our children. With this beautiful slide, I want to stop. Let us really make a decision to be happy. Let us really have a positive outlook and just watch this. Just like this children, if we become manage things, if we drop a key, we actually shout out children, why, my God, we'll create a scene. Now that is what I'm saying. In conclusion, I want to say life skill is all about everyday challenges, how coolly we take it. That is what is empowering. Can we do something, teachers? Yes. Once there was a man, old man walking in the beach, which many of you would have been, heard the story. And he was just bending down early morning and throwing something into the sea. An young man, he was just following. He was seeing what he was doing. He ran fast. He stopped this old man and asked, what are you doing? You are bending and throwing something into the sea. Then this old man said, in the morning, in the sunlight, these starfish which are coming into the seashore, they are killed. I'm just saving them. Then this young boy laughed at him and said, how many starfish will you save? There are so many on the seashore. Then this old man once again bent down, took one starfish, threw back into the water and said, my dear young boy, to this starfish, I have made a difference. It is living into the water now. Dear teachers, each day, even if one starfish we can save, that is our children. I think we can make a big difference. Thank you, Dr. Sivashakti, once again. Thank you, dear audience, for the wonderful opportunity. Thank you so much. I wind up.
Thank you so much, sir. The excellent session. Thank you once again. Thank you.
Insightful
Thank you.
Insightful and inspiring session, sir.
I don't know. I took a little extra time. I don't know. I wanted to finish at 5:45, maybe 15 minutes. I exceeded. Okay.
Sir, please stop share, sir.
Yeah, 1 minute. Done. Yes.
Mummy, your voice is breaking, ma. Sir, shall I read the question, sir?
Oh, okay. Please.
Meenakshi from Meenakshi. Sir, I am from Karnataka. My son is addicted to mobile games hours together. After his online classes, whenever we ask him to help us, I get frustration and angry and stressed. We are scarred, and it is big challenge for us to control him from such an act. What we have to do? He is in 10th class.
Now, I don't know whether I have a solution, but it is an open discussion. Not that, this person doesn't have an answer she's asking me, but probably it's just that maybe some insights can help her. The first part, one of the things that I just like to really say is that, sometimes when it comes to, I always, because I go for 10th class and 12th class children, when it is, am I audible, Dr.
Yes, sir.
Shruti?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Audible,
yeah,
sir. Yes.
yeah. So sometimes when children come to 10th standard and 12th standard, the first thing is, not in the pandemic, we first disconnect the TV, cable, no cable for this year. Then no visits anywhere, and absolutely nothing. We stop all the rituals from there. Then we say, you are in 10th class, 10th class, 10th class, you are in 12th class, it's, break, or, a kind of unnecessary seriousness we put into that situation, where children are made to feel that, my God, if I don't perform, I think I'm going to miss something in my life. So the first thing, please, to all the parents, let us not really, 10th standard or 12th standard is one part of life. What happens, I think all the successful people, if you've taken, they don't go to Cambridge or, Oxford. There are many who have failed in 10th, probably made it big in life. And we don't need actually a big, iconic car to become successful. So the first part is, let's stop thinking or giving importance to 10th class and 12th class. The second part is, to me, any child, having that kind of a tantrum or addiction. Now, many children, they are saying that they are, giving the mobile phone for online class, then they are taking it back. They are not, charging it. They are charging it only when they need it. But I think that's not the solution. That's what I've been saying. Teach them the life skill to be responsible, but in simple terms, listen to them. Why are they doing that? I think that will solve much of the problems, because if they are able to tell us why they spend more time, they will tell what are their difficulties. We can look for a solution based on that, instead of trying to see that probably is a symptom, getting addicted, but there is something behind that. Let us really listen to them, talk to them. I think that could be a starting point, I feel. Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
So next question, can you suggest some good books for improving self-awareness and quality of one's thoughts?
There are many books, but in fact, when I started reading, probably about some 20 years before, when I started doing these sessions, I used to read always psychology books. There are many books, but the first simplest book I found was Dr. Shivakera's book, You Can Win. That's where I started. Of course, now which I said, there is one book which I shared with you, The Growth Mindset. And then there are books called Good to Great. And these are books, not for the book's sake, but they give us some insight and experiences of people. And if you want really the self-awareness, I would suggest, please get into NIMAN's website, or CBSE website, NCERT website, or you can also get into Rajiv Gandhi National Institute of Youth Development. They have different modules with activities, with games, with a lot of case studies. They give us some insights about self-awareness.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Next from Revati, in current life scenario, mostly the youth take everything for granted across all possible dimensions with the justification. Life is to enjoy, with poor meaning for enjoyment. How can we motivate them to improve the quality of their thought process?
But there is something, I'm sorry, first part is to analyze it. I think there is a small generation gap. So in fact, even what I see is, I have two children. They are of 3 years gap. I see tremendous amount of gap between both of them in their thinking, belief, and actions. Now, this is something the parents and children, we think that they are taking it for granted. They are enjoying life. We think it is probably not something right, but for them, it is something right. Why are you asking me this question? Please. People always say, children, in fact, I have heard parents saying, did you take my permission before giving birth to me? See, that's the most painful thing. Most painful thing. So, children ask such kind of questions, but it don't moralize, don't lecture. That doesn't help. But definitely, children can, through a discussion mode, when we are trying to explain our sacrifice, you take 40 lakhs and send them to a let's say high profile institution, but don't tell him that we so much of pain. Tell them I've taken 1 lakh loan. I go through this pain. You need to really understand. You're going to pay for it, and that responsibility we need to really teach to children. Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
So next question, Dr. Hemalata.
Yes,
Please now.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Your lecture is very good, very nice.
Thank
You
you.
touches all the points related to life skill, but many times the students' expectations are very high, and these expectations are not fulfilling. So how do a teacher manage expectations and set goals for his or her students? This is very much we are facing the problem.
So I think anyway, even during this time, thanks for the question. There are many sessions I've been observing, Dr. Shakti Center, they are organizing, but I think it falls into the category of motivation. All of us teachers are motivators, parents are motivators, but let's not all of a sudden expect something big. I always say, step by step. In fact, I just like to, maybe before they announce, I take Dr. Shivashakti's permission. We are going to jointly host another. They are given us an opportunity to host a week-long international webinar.
Definitely,
In fact,
sir.
Yeah. So we are so grateful. The final stage is set. They will communicate to you. But there are some very, very excellent speakers, national, international level speakers. You're going to listen to them. And each one of them is an inspiration and a motivator. But they will tell you the children who are unreached, who are at the lowest level, how they are able to reach out. And please look forward to that. And we are going to provide some really good insights, quality insights. And anyway, we are thankful to them for giving us an opportunity to co-host it. So anyway, I'm saying, let's go step by step instead of really expecting something very high from the beginning. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Hemalatham. Sir, next question, Dr. Neha from Dr. Neha. Sir, what should we do to get young boys, girls getting into hurtful relationship? Do you suggest sex education will improve this problem?
Okay, I think Dr. Who is raising here, I think she herself probably has some answers, but I think, in fact, if I can go back, in 1995, I remember I was an NSS officer in the college. We were sent for the AIDS, University Talks AIDS. That was the program at that time. We have to come and train our children to become aware of HIV/AIDS. But there was one lady who was coming to take classes. Then children started calling that lady's name as AIDS and then the name. See, the point is, somewhere I think our mindset is we are not open. There's high amount. In fact, today probably India tops as one of the country with the highest number of HIV cases. And point to me is whether it is irresponsible sex outside relationship, outside the school system, outside the college or inside the campuses, it's happening. I have heard children kissing, holding, all that. But we are not comfortable talking about it. Leave alone teachers. How many parents are comfortable talking about it to their children to tell them, please, good touch and bad touch? We invite a doctor to come and tell our children, be aware. There are many girls go through that trauma, but they are not ready to share. So therefore, this mindset, even from the teachers, please understand, when we are ready to share, children are ready to accept. It is a mindset from the seniors that is blocking this, that two-way process. They are ready.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, from Savita Bande, workload of teachers in schools is usually more. Because of this, more stress will be generated. How can we sustain creativity among teachers in such a situation?
Okay. So among the teachers' creativity? Okay, so
Yes, sir.
I would really would say this way. I think I'll probably I can forward that link to Dr. Sushakti. You can share it in the group sometime.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So in fact, if you really see the teacher who is asking, with all due respect, most of the people have really exploded their creativity during this pandemic. You see the YouTube, it is actually full of videos with a lot of creativity. And one of my students, she also happens to be in the film field, and she has brought out a video about the facial expression. You know, she's an artist, beautiful, excellent, and it has gone viral. And you know, it is amazing how she has spent this time. There is stress, but she had really taken the time to use that creativity. Now, how the teacher can use it? For instance, probably the methodology of reaching out to the student and how to conduct a class. You know, in fact, there are people who start the class every day with a small story, children saying that. And there are people who really tell the children to sing a song. So I think creativity, there is no full stop. It's just that, you know, kind of, instead of saying that, am I right or wrong? Creativity is nothing right or wrong. Creativity is something different. Please go ahead. Your children will appreciate.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Next question, sir. And Varki, Dr. Manish, most times some students are irregular and no motivation. Makes them today a little. How to make them active?
I don't. Is it the
how to
children
make them active? Irregular and no motivation. Max.
No, is it during this time you mean, or in general? Have they said anything?
Most times, some students. That's all. Generally.
Okay. Now, to me, if I have spent last 1.5 hours with you, my humblest request is, dear teachers who is present in this platform, please, the best students don't require our help. Even without our help, they will do well in life. Really, children who need help is these weakest links, children in the last bench or children who never speak. Please, one day you call them, excuse me, are you disturbed with something? They are not inactive. Please understand, they are scared of really reaching out. If we reach out, they will, you know, bring out the best in them. It's just that, you know, it is not that they are that way, but we are not ready really to spend some time with them to really bring the best in them. So that's my answer.
Sir, myself Dr. Manish Bhatnagar.
Yes,
my question is related with some students. Whatever I am observing since last 20 years, some of the students are means not cooperating, and they are giving stress to the teachers in general in university. So they are not bothered about anything, and they don't want to do a little bit ahead or move little bit ahead. So how to handle them?
Okay, there are two things here. Sir, please, you know, once again, please understand, nobody can give us stress. That's my choice. You know, that's my first plain answer. If I'm taking stress, that's my responsibility, because all the environments, I have no control, but I have control to my response. So first response. The second response is the strategy, how people handle the children, you know, who are, we consider as little difficulty children. Please, this works well. Find out what their interest area is. Perhaps academics, they are not interested. You give them, you know, some outreach activities, they'll do very well, but they find our class very boring. You know, please don't think that we are the best teachers. You know, children are glued to our, you know, absolutely not. For attendance sake, they are sitting, they are tolerating, they are respecting. Please understand, we are not best all the time. But if we are able to provide them some opportunity, like conducting a fest, or, you know, doing it, you know, collecting some donation, or bringing out a kind of a book, or bringing out a journal, they'll be full time in the computer lab, they'll bring out the best. Believe me, that bridges us very fast than any other students who are best in studies, and they'll remember us always.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Sir,
I think
next
I
question.
asked about, excuse me, sir,
Yes.
I think I asked about that irregularity of the students. They are not joining the university for months, say 2 or 3 months, they are not going to attend a single class, and then they want a good grade. That's the problem, sir.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you, sir.
Okay, sorry. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Sir, next question, sir.
Yeah, please.
From Anne Varki. Some parents want their children to be on top position.
I'm Dr. Kishori Das.
Ma'am, please, ma'am, 1 minute, ma'am, please, ma'am. From Anne Varki, some parents want their children to be on top position in all activities and they don't train children to face challenges and failures. Can you please provide some suggestions to parents to train children to face failures?
Okay.
Yeah. So I think, that's a point I have been emphasizing quite a few times, where in one slide I said, the first part is the parental expectation itself when it is very high, where I said it is, to win his life, to lose his death. That is a philosophy of a kind of, good parent means, they go around boasting, my son is here, my son is studying there. Why he got, first rank. Now, I think this is one side of the story, the parental expectation. The other side of it, how do we really teach them the failure? What do we do when a child falls, when it is very small? We give a helping hand. Then we say, it's okay, you fall again. When the child is crying, we don't say it's okay. Now, that is how we train the small. But when they suddenly grow up, we provide them everything. That's why, one slide I said, it's a terribly protected childhood that we provide. And failure is seen as ultimate. Absolutely not. In fact, that's why I said there is a book called Dare to Fail. And you give all the lessons of failures and then say how they have succeeded. So therefore, my lesson would be, or my message would be, please, I think, showing or having a discussion about the failures and also telling them how they have succeeded.
Thank you, sir. Yes, ma'am. Dr. Kishori, ma'am, please.
I think she has unmuted herself. It's fine. Go on.
Dr. Hisori, ma'am. Okay, sir.
Okay, yeah.
Next question, sir. Very good session, sir. Myself, Lata, your student.
Okay.
Myself, Lata, sir.
Yeah.
Your student from Karnataka, Mangaluru, teacher. Why parents are not ready to share their difficulties with children? Why they are giving more comfortable life? How we can bridge this gap?
So previous, of course, my student, I'm so proud. And I must tell you, actually, she was my student, but from humble background. She's a founder of a school, a CBSE school. You'll be proud to know that. She's a very successful social entrepreneur. But my point, probably she's also concerned about it. The previous answer was this. Most often, parents fail to communicate their difficulties to children. They don't want the children to know their pains. But I also want to give you this one. In certain counseling sessions, children come and cry to me and say, if I fail like this, if I do this, my Appaji, my father will, cannot take it. I'll be hurting him. Please understand, there are many children, they are good-hearted, kind-hearted, they don't want to hurt. But very often the parents' fault of not sharing their pains and difficulties with the children create that gap. Probably, I think, Lada, that is the way that we need to teach parents to really be more straightforward and also more open than closed. I think that creates a gap. And they will never be kind to parents. They will never understand their feelings.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
Dr. Kishori, ma'am, please unmute yourself. Dr. Hisori, ma'am. Dr. Hisori, ma'am. She's there, sir.
Yeah, she's there, but she is not there. Unmuted.
Dr. Hisori, ma'am.
Or the audio is lost. We don't know.
Okay,
yes,
sir. Okay, sir.
Yeah.
From Ajmal, my son is 5 years old and he is not at all obeying any request or command put forward by anybody. Recent times, this has been increased and he is so adamant to get whatever he wants. He never likes to do his homework or obey his teacher. He had developed the habit of beating anyone irrespective of their age and love he have for them. Nowadays, it is a very difficult to handle him, which makes me and my family so stressful.
My empathy with you, ma'am. Perhaps I think having that kind of a child who normally we label as difficult child, sometimes it's painful, but please, my request is don't hate him. Please don't do that.
Okay.
Don't label him. And please also, it's a good idea. I'm sure by raising this question, now you have opened up your heart, and it will be a great idea if you can find somebody with whom you can trust, talk about it. I'm sure they'll be able to. He's not a bad child at all, but definitely he has little behavioral issues. And when he is aware of it and the what harm it is creating, he will definitely be willing to change. But let's really take somebody's help. But my empathy is for you, but it's in this open forum, let's not really go deeper into that. Thank you.
Yes, Dr. Hisori ma'am. Dr. Hisori ma'am, unmute yourself, please.
Yeah, I think. So
Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Sir, please. Dr.
This is Dr. Jawahar. Good evening to all of you. As Dr. Clive was telling, I am really addicted to this, sessions, and I admire you for one reason, because in 2009, the Central Board of Secondary Education introduced the skills, life skills, and then the CCE, we call it. Hello. Comprehensive. Hello.
Yeah. Yes.
Are you able to hear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, the CCE, Comprehensive Continuous Evaluation. So it was introduced in 2009, depicting all the life skills and all that. But it was really very difficult for us to explain all these things and award scores. There are a lot of things. Then later on we knew it. And today, I was very much impressed with the robotic empathy. For empathy, that was a very, very good video. I was really very much fascinated with that robotic video that depicts empathy in a very simple way. I really thank you very much for that. And I really admire your way of narrating the stories with anecdotes and happenings. It was excellent, sir. And we'll try to follow in future the way that you are presenting the lectures. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
And have a nice, great evening. And once again, I thank the organizing secretary, Dr. Swashikti, along with her team, doing their best and trying to reach the centenary celebrations. God bless you all. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, bye.
Dr. Hisori ma'am.
Her connection
Yes,
is not properly.
Proper.
Okay,
Maybe
okay,
can
ma'am.
leave
Okay,
it,
ma'am.
leave it.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, you can close
Sir,
it.
next from Satyamurthy, this is called Ranipetai, Tamil Nadu. My question: how to build and collaborate work students? How individually motivate low skill student?
But yeah,
Collaborate.
so to me, collaborate. I understand. But to me, one of the things that very bad practice that we call, we have the best practices also, where some of the institutions, especially schools, where they do is segregate students. A division, the best students, top scorers. B division, next level, and E division is all kind of lowest, scorers. But I think that itself, puts a kind of a low self-esteem in children. So this collaboration happens, from day one. Let's put children of mixed intelligence. That works beautifully well, because one may be an excellent communicator, one may be an excellent artist, another may be an excellent thinker. But when these skills come together, only collaboration, teamwork takes place. So let's try to experiment that in the institutions. Please, let's not segregate children based on the marks.
Thank you, sir. From Anbumani, sir, how can we engage the students in his or her interest by compromising their parents? What is the step we have to focus towards this, particularly about learning disability students?
I don't know whether I'm an authority on that, because to me, these are okay, but the learning disability is something that I'm not too familiar with, which only my awareness is like you. perhaps you may need somebody who really has a better guidance on that. But one thing, even in my last session in one of the webinars, I said, please let us have meaningful conversations in a community of teachers, students, and parents. That network is really necessary.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. 4
Yeah.
questions only more, sir. I'm Gayatri from Chennai, and I'm a student teacher. My question is in order to make the students active in the class for the whole day. Let me know how to teach them with creative manner, how to erase their boredom about the studies.
Okay. So my first question in my teachers training sessions, I first asked, how many of you will be happy to sit in your own classes? I asked the teachers to raise their hands. If you are very confidently touch your heart and say you are happy in your own class, you are an excellent teacher. You will never be boring. Please, sometimes some teachers say, sir, I have 7 hours today and last hour also. You know something, last hour students are also bored and we are also bored. Please, it is not so. In a film, the climax is something that's really beautiful, right? 2.5 hours, 3 hours, we watch. Are we tired? I don't think. We are glued and we come front and see what is happening in the climax. So there is nothing like, whole day. It's just that a teacher should have a different kind of tricks. And as you're a student, you really have a great kind of resources available. But I would really simply put it this way. One, never ever depend on your knowledge level alone. You can just make it participatory. You should have a lot of tricks. One storytelling, one kind of brainstorming, probably, different kind of variety of teaching techniques are available. And students won't look at the watch at all. They'll be looking at you only. So I think it is possible provided we practice it. It doesn't come automatically. Yes.
Thank you, sir. Sir, please tell the name of the author of the book, Dare to Fail.
I think it is Billy. His surname I failed. I can text it to you. You can share in the group. Okay, but anyway, it is not easy, difficult. You can just Google search. Dare to Fail, the title of the book is.
From Henrietta, sir, very encouraging session. Thank you so much. Students aware of the problems of self and the family don't have no passion, need to perseverance.
I'm not able to get the question. Is
there
question,
a statement? Statement. Yes, sir. Statement.
It looks like a statement.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. From Alia Barvin, how should we inculcate life skills in staff and children of residential school?
Okay. So I think the best atmosphere is actually in the residential schools, if you ask me. All the things that we said, it's very easy to experiment in a residential setup because we are living with them. One, we are able to provide that role model to them, not shouting at the children. See, sometimes I find, as I said, some teachers take themselves very seriously. I am a principal, I am a head teacher, that kind of a thing. Please, after all, that's only a designation and a role. And what's wrong if I wish a child, good morning, how are you today? Children also will wish back. So the first is, from our side, breaking that barrier and role model. I think there are many ways we can experiment. When a child falls sick in a hostel, residential school, how many children are able to really look after that child, write the notes? I think then in an assembly, we say, look at that child, you are all doing that. Please come in front. We want to honor you. I think that's the way. I think it's very easy in a residential school to go about it, teaching life skills.
Sir, from Raghavendra Prabhu, to win in the life and how to face the difficulties, which one we should teach first? To win in the life first one, and second one, how to face the difficulties. Which one we should teach first?
Okay, so whether we have to really give which one to prioritize, to win in the life or to face the difficulties. Yeah. So I think once again, this winning is a kind of a very loose term that is what's winning. You see, to me, probably today, if I'm able to do a webinar successfully, to me, I have won the hearts of some people. So I think this is all this. If you are trying to put children to live up to the societal expression, we are killing their creativity, individuality. So therefore, this is one side of grossly misunderstood term, winning. The second thing, facing difficulty, that's what I said, very first statement, and also Dr. Elizabeth read out, the statement of life skill is that, please, life skill is all about everyday challenges, are they able to face it? So that's the first priority. If you are able to teach, winning success comes automatically.
Sir, next from Sibi, my 5 years love to spend time with my sister, as she does not scold for any of his act, but I scold so she does not like me. What should I do in such a case? Shall I stop guiding him?
So, okay, well, please don't do that. Please don't do that. But I always use this word called, so, please, there are a few words which I heard from the participants: command, order, obey. Please let us not, who are the children to obey us? Who are we to order them? Who are we to command them? Please, let's not use those words. And here I just like to also, you said, words like disciplining or guiding is a beautiful word, but I use this word, caring confrontation. Please make the child sit and caringly say, your doing of this hurts me. Your doing of this hurts these children. Shall we really explore how we can stop it? That caring confrontation instead of, point fingering definitely helps the child to correct it.
Sir,
hello, sir.
Yes, ma. Yes.
Ma'am, is it okay to ask
Okay, ma. Okay.
Sorry if I've disturbed.
Okay, ma.
Sir, I'm Revati. I just want to share a scenario. I mean, it happened about 2 years back. I got to know about it from some of my relatives. It so happened like a 6th standard girl. Evening, her mother had come in Indica car to pick her up from the school. It is one of top level ICSE school. But after she got into the car, she didn't sit on the seat of the car. She just lied down beneath the seat. And when her mother asked why you're doing this, sit properly, she didn't utter a single word. She just sat quietly. After reaching home, she gave a response that, you have come in an Indica car to pick me up. When my peer group sees me in the Indica car, I will lose my dignity. So I was really shocked to hear that girl say such a statement for, lying down in the car. So can you share some insights on this, sir? Is it a social problem or is it an educational problem or a parenting problem?
But Revati, I want to compliment you are an insightful teacher, first of all, because you are able to pick out an
Sir,
incident.
I'm not yet a teacher. I'm still an MH student. I just gave my final year exams.
But you're going to be an insightful teacher. Take it from me, because I think this is how you really analyze life situations and, learn more about life. But anyway, just to be very precise in what you said, you asked him whether it's a parental problem, societal problem, or is a problem of the child. But where did this child learn this value from? Indica car is lower than the other car. See, isn't it partly the media where, you are just showing all that flashy thing and saying, sometimes isn't the parent in our conversation, my God, we are only having an Indica car. Look at them, they are going by that car. See, I think the child is not born with a car. Children are there today without chappals also. But I feel it is from the environment from where the children pick up. But it's okay to really tell them car is not ultimate. What is important is human beings, life. So I think, when you come to know about it, children can confront. So I think that's the better way of doing it. Thanks, Revati, for sharing that insight.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
And Shiv Shakti ma'am, I just want to thank you because every day I'm looking for the topics you choose and the type of resource person. Awesome combination.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you. Sir, 3 questions available. Shall I read or finish?
No, it's left to you. It's almost, I think, audience also are dropping. Just we have
3
taken 2 hours. Yeah, it's fine. No,
okay.
Yeah.
Sir, Henrietta, what do you do? what to do you suggest for students who want shortcuts to success? They are not able to persevere in their efforts, rather speak for short-term happiness.
I think there is no answer from me, but if you look at the surrounding today, everything is instant. People want instant things. For instance, you order online, you take a coffee from a machine, things, even some bank message comes, instant loan approval, instant delivery. Probably the only thing that we can't do is, a mother has to carry a baby for 9.5 months. That's not possible.
Thank you.
So I think, we need to really tell the child it's okay to really wait, and waiting and reaching there has more benefit than shortcut. I think it's quite okay to speak about it.
Ayyamma Devi, many private schools follow different methodology in teaching as well, syllabus and books. This also a big collaboration for students. How far it's good for next generation?
But I don't know, there's a contradiction in the question. The first part is saying that different kinds of syllabus. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Then the second part is saying there's a collaboration.
Okay, sir. Last question, sir.
Yeah.
Last question. Navjot, in this pandemic, it's been realized the students are getting too lenient towards learning and studies. How can we motivate them to study through online classes and encourage them to participate more like they do in actual class? I teach science to secondary classes. Please raise my question.
Okay. Now, I again request you, teacher, whoever, wherever you are, please hold on. From Monday onwards, we are going to have a series. I have already, spoken to a few resource persons to touch on that. You will get some insight, but I don't have an answer, because people are generally saying learning is not taking place, or learning is very slow in this online mode of teaching. But this is inevitable to keep the children engaged. We are doing that. Let's not worry about it.
Thank you so much,
yes,
sir.
Yes. I think it's
so
done. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay.
Now I request Mr. S. Balamurugan, Assistant Professor, Department of Educational Psychology, Tamil Nadu Teachers Education University, to deliver the vote of thanks. Sir, Balamurugan, sir, unmute yourself, sir. Yes, sir.
Good evening to all. Really, it is a very wonderful session. Really, all the participants, including myself and all the organizers, we are proud and we are lucky to have such a scholar regarding the very important skill as the need of the hour during this 21st century. A special thanks to organizers for wonderful organizing sessions, especially with today's resource person and soft skills for teachers. I thank on behalf of the university and the Center for Capacity Building of School Teachers, Dr. Robert Clive. Really, you did justice for the topic, sir. Really, we are much impressed with your way of presentation and the way you take the session for more than 2.5 hours with your wonderful presentation, with the PPT preparation, as well as the apted examples, with the way of presentation, with the language. It's totally engrossed all the participants without distracting a point for the first 2.5 hours with a wonderful presentation. Really, you become a kind of a person and personality, setting yourself as the role model for the budding teachers like me and all the prospective teachers also, how to take this profession with a challenge and how to present and how to give the students what they needed and required, and how to teach the students whatever the teacher need for the teaching profession. We can learn from you. That is the small word I want to say, that you did matchless. There is no way to say anything about except the way you presented. You are matchless. Really, you are the best teacher that everybody will accept. I hope that all the participants will endorse my view that you are the best one
sir.
that we have come across. Really, the way you presented is mind-blowing. There's no words to say above and beyond that. Really, we're thankful to you, sir. We're looking forward for your presence in more programs. I hope that you will be keep in touch with us in more programs to enlighten the teachers, that we are much looking forward for your programs in more unexplorable topics that we need much more for better generation and building the vibrant nation for the future. I hope it will be come in the years and the days to come. Thank you, sir, for your wonderful presentation and your patience. Just you take the questions. It's really fantastic. The answers really, it's mind-blowing and thought-provoking. There is no words to say that. Really, we are, what can we say that? We are really mesmerized with your presentation. That is the thing we want to share with you, sir. Really, we are thankful and grateful to you. And I thank all the participants for wonderful participation, their cooperation and coordination. They are also very eager and interested till the end. So I thank all the participants, and a special thanks to the organizer, Dr. T. Sivasikthi Rajamal, who is the coordinator of the Center for Capacity Building, and another supporting woman, Dr. T. Premalada. Really, her work is and her contribution was great. Thank you to Dr. Premalada and all other panelists and all other committee members and all other people who are behind the screen for making this wonderful program a grand and gala success. Once again, I thank you all. Thank you very much for a wonderful session. Bye. Good night.
Thank you, Dr. Balamurugan, sir. Sorry, thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so
thank
much.
You, Dr.
Thank
Robert
you.
Clay, sir. Thank you so much.
No.
Thank
Thanks to you for the opportunity.
You,
I must compliment you and your friend, Dr. Premalada.
Yes.
Because both of you, what I find is, it's like a childlike enthusiasm that you do, not for anything big. So that is something many others can catch up from you. So let's really look forward to one more useful webinar series next week. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Thank you, all
sir.
of you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr.
With a lot of
Hemala Tamam.
hesitation,
Thank
sir.
you. Thank you, Dr. Hemala Tamam. Thank you, Dr. Jawahar, sir. Thank you, Balamurugan, sir. Thank you, Dr. Premala Tamam. Thank you, Dr. Josephine, ma'am. Thank you, Dr. Hisuri, ma'am. Thank you, all the panelists, and thank you, all the participants. Once again, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.